つも君と待ち続けた季節は何も言わず通り過ぎた雨はこの街に降り注ぐ少しのリグレットと罪を包み込んで泣かないことを誓ったまま時は過ぎ痛む心に気がつかずに僕は一人になった日
Everyone around here looks so much happier than they used to.
I'll say. It feels like an entirely different place. I suppose it's had time to adjust to its newfound freedom.
Zephyr would have been so happy to see this.
Yeah, he really would have. Especially if he knew Law was... Law? Something bothering you, Law?
Nah, I'll be fine. It's just, you know...
It still weighs on you, doesn't it? Running away back then.
I abandoned my home. Then when I finally come back, it's been liberated. What's important is that it's free. I get that, I do. I just... I should have been here.
Just one thing after another, and it all falls on my head to...
Hey, Nath.
What? Can't you see I'm... Alphen?
Looks like you have your hands full.
As much as ever. As if I wasn't busy enough putting down the last remnants of Renan rule, I'm up to my ears in Dahnan disputes. And then, to top it all off, that thing had to come crashing down from out of the sky.
Pretty sure we've heard this somewhere before.
But enough about my problems. What can I help you with?
Yeah, we're looking for an old Renan starship. You wouldn't happen to know any around these parts, would you?
A starship? What do you need one of those for?
To get to Lenegis.
Lenegis? Are you out of your damn mind?
Believe it or not, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've done recently.
Well, I believe it. Well, either way, I'm afraid I haven't heard anything about a starship.
Then do you have any historical records by chance?
Sure, we've got stacks of old records.
Mind if we take a look at them?
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Nath.
I read through all of the records, but I only found a single line that might point to what we're looking for. It mentions a rock that shot across the sky and landed past the mountains. The event was recorded just before the first Renan invasion.
And you think that might be the starship?
I don't know. There was nothing else in the records that came even close. It looked like it was someplace called Berg, but maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Berg?
That ring any bells for you?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest volcanoes in Calaglia. I was just there recently, investigating a report of a meteor someone saw.
Another meteor in the same area? Really?
I wonder if it could have been one of those lights that shot out of the wedge.
All the more reason to check it out. Can you tell us how to get there?
The old Zion mine is up that way. One of the veins we abandoned connects to the volcano. Go ahead and use that. But you should be careful.
Huh?
I don't know if it has anything to do with the meteor. There's a giant Zoogle running riot in there. Never seen anything like it.
A Zoogle, huh?
Well, I turned back as soon as I caught sight of the thing, so I can't tell you much more. Just be real careful if you head out that way. All right.
I guess...
Right.
I didn't like the sound of that monster Nath was talking about one bit.
Well, we have to press on. We're going...
Everything okay with Hootle, Rinwell? He seems kinda out of spirits.
It must be the heat getting to him. We don't get these kind of temperatures back in Cyslodia.
Galaglians born and raised here struggle with it too, so it's no surprise.
Aha! So that's why his plumage is so white. He was born in a winter wonderland.
Actually, Dan and owls absorb the astral energy of whatever land they're raised in. Where they're born doesn't affect their appearance at all, but that's not why he's white. The real reason is that he's still just a baby. Whoo!
You mean their plumage changes color depending on where they grow up? Weird.
And with all this traveling we've been doing, it wouldn't surprise me if his wings ended up looking like a colorful painting.
I think he suits his snowy complexion. It'll feel strange to see him change.
How awesome would it be if his head and wings were different colors? And his stomach and sides, like a map of our travel? Ow, lay off, will ya? So much for the heat making him docile.
You've only yourself to blame for that one. Hootle takes pride in his appearance, you know.
Fascinating. An appreciation of aesthetic beauty in an owlet so young.
Dohalim, I think you've drawn his attention.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
So we're back in the Zion Mine tunnels. Who would have thought we'd be going through this place again? This is where you and I first fought together.
And also the first time we touched, as I recall.
Wait, really?
Yes, really.
So this path is supposed to take us out to Berg Volcano?
We're not gonna see any lava burst out in front of us or anything, are we?
Don't get so paranoid you let a rock fall on your head, Law. So hot.
Well, yeah. We've reached the inner portion of Berg Volcano.
We need to find that starship. And fast!
Want me to pick up your slack then?
Just pointing it out.
I'm doing it! Astral energy!
Say no more.
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
Seriously? Is this a joke?
Swallow blade! Are those fury to be let free? It's almost too strong. Split it open! Be my guest!
Thanks, Kitara! No more playing nice! Here, let's go now! Death Blossom! Tiger Blade!
Take this!
Lunar Corruption!
I can carve through armor!
This one's ready!
What's this?
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Did it!
Yeah! Nice technique!
Lunar Corruption!
Lunar Rondo!
Lunar Blast!
Talon Hurricane!
On guard! Lunar Corruption! This one's mine! This one's mine!
Talon Hurricane!
Do it! Law! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
We can really make weapons with this?
The design of this equipment. equipment is really interesting.
You must really like it, Alphen.
Gotta break through!
Let me help you.
Lunarongo!
Alright.
Swallow dance! Swallow blade!
This one's mine.
Shattering the pieces!
Lunarongo!
Armor won't save you!
me.
Got fire!
I've got this.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off! Lunarongo! This one's all mine! Lunarongo!
This one's mine.
These fists have got your name on them!
Lunarongo!
Look sharp.
Radiant Fire! Inferno Punch!
Thank goodness we won.
Huh. You want me? Come get me. Here.
Dragon Shot!
Here. Let me help. Take cover when it curls
You picked the wrong fight!
Mega Ray.
You're mine! I'm not done!
No armor can stop me!
Remind me to stay on
Should have met
Charge
with me!
like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Lunarongo!
I never came.
I'm just getting closer! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous Claw!
Swallow blade! Come on! Swallow blade!
Now you see what I can do!
Glacial Spear. Pierce the Crescent Moon. Spider Blade.
In a bind?
Make it rain.
Take them out! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
Things come to an end.
Super Swallow.
Get inside me! Sure! To be let free!
This one's mine.
Lunarongo!
Dragon Shout.
Inferno Punch!
Make it rain. Ringwell.
Frozen?
Hammer.
I'm even stronger than before.
You can make plants grow instantly? What if we use this for fruits and vegetables?
I'd rather not be our party's fertilizer. Thank you very much.
Get lost.
Lunarongo!
Anything in armor is all mine!
You picked the wrong fight! Lunarongo!
Do it.
On a roll now!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone.
Did it!
Yeah! Nice technique!
Lunarongo!
Talon Hurricane!
Mirage!
I can carve through armor!
This one's mine.
I'm just getting started!
Swallow blade!
No further!
Talon Sword!
Make it rain.
Swallow blade!
All yours, Kisara!
Hey! Poodle's quivering! I think we're about to be real lucky!
An opponent like this should be easy. Lunarongo!
You're going in. I never miss.
If it cools off, time to get out of the way!
Lunarongo!
Shion, go for it. Prepare to crumble.
Think we overdid it?
Not
Fall
my
back in your defenses!
Glad you have your uses.
Glacial Spear.
I'll show you how useful I can be!
Swallow blade! Eat
Freeze
this!
Lancer.
Vacuum blade!
Round and pound.
All good things come to an
Lunarongo!
end! Watch it!
Will this help?
Here I come! Swallow blade! There!
First strike!
This
Talon Hurricane! Healing Bird! Now I'm in the groove!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Sword Rain Alpha! Burn! This one's mine! Lunar Rondo! Talon Hurricane! Lunar Rondo! I'm on a roll now! That's awesome! I'm out of ammo! I'm all stocked up! Going in! Annihilation! First strike! Armor won't save you! Take this! You see what happened there is you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that. Alpha! Make it right! All yours, Kisara. By the power of flame! This one's mine! Take it right! Frozen Hammer!
Looks like we got them all.
My face is starting to sting, and my throat feels super parched.
Here, have some water. Just make sure you don't drink too much.
Thanks.
You want some too, Shion? Oh, wait. I bet you're hungry more than...
Get lost! Dragon Tail! Lunar Rondo! Lunar Rondo! Burn!
You have to aim for the front area on their back.
Let's tear them up! Aim for the weak point! That's enough! Hurricane, you hear it now! Do it! Whoa, damn! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
No backing down! Eat this! Shield Hurricane Blast! I can carve through armor! This one's mine!
They're hiding thick as armor.
Shield! Go for it! Prepare to crumble!
Think we overdid it?
Shield, not by alarm line! Free! Why can't they keep it still?
Shion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done. That's my cue.
Shut him down! Flame inside me!
I'm out of ammo.
Be let free!
You see what happened there is you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that.
Kisara! Commander of Heavens!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Here's a healing arm.
Lunar Rondo!
First aid. Annihilation.
Here's the roll! Burning Sword!
Water.
Turbo Blade!
Not on my watch.
Do it!
Frozen.
Hammer!
I got it.
Got what?
I can chop up vegetable scraps and use them in the seasonings.
Should've known that's what it was gonna be about.
How long has it been since I last went this hungry?
I won't forgive you.
Dragon Shatter! Vacuum Blade!
One more. This one's mine.
Swallow Blade! Strike! Ready and raring! Sword Rain Alpha!
Do it.
Watch Kisara!
Commander of Heavens!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Did it!
Yeah! Nice technique.
Eat this! Hurricane Healing Circle!
How do you like being pounded into shape?
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Move it, Dawn!
Flaming meteor!
You picked the wrong fight!
Lunar Rondo! Try harder! Armor won't save you! My turn! Burning Strike!
Swallow Blade.
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heavens!
Phoenix Cyclone! Radiant Pierce! Far enough! Take it! Take this! Eat this! That's enough! Blade! There you are! This one's do it!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Well then, let's keep moving.
That's far enough!
Sealed!
Lunar Rondo! Burn!
Lunar corruption! Confiscated!
Lunar Rondo! The bigger they are, the harder they fall! Piston! Aim for the weak point!
Do it!
Explode!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Take it! One perfect move! Mega Ray! Tiger Blade! Lunar Rondo! Ryan Quiver Dragon! Igneous Discharge!
Amazing.
Lunar Rondo! Here and now! Mega Ray! I never miss! Hurricane Strike!
Do it! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Whew. Thank goodness we won.
My word. This must be the work of Providence.
What now?
It means destiny. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, though.
Let's dispose of the trash.
Swallow Blade! Try harder!
Hurricane Burning Strike! What? Now you see what I can do! Flaming Meteor! Far enough!
Swallow Blade!
Glacial Spear! Here's
Sword
Eagle!
Rain Alpha!
Freeze Lancer!
Swallow Blade! Forward! Sword Rain Alpha!
now!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Did it!
Yeah! Nice technique!
Dragon Shell! Hurricane Roll now!
Swallow Blade!
Hurricane Foot!
Strike!
This
This
one's
one's
mine!
Art expert coming through!
You picked the wrong fight!
Swallow Dance! This one's mine!
Swallow Blade!
Not on my watch!
Eagle
Do it!
Assault! Don't leave! Hey!
Blow them away! Hey! I'm pretty lucky.
Ow! Lunar Rondo! Lace up reload! Lunar Rondo! Here's the Eagle for Swallow Dance! Now you see what I can do! Here, let me help!
My head's spinning just watching you.
Water! Here!
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished. Wow, that was a nice move there.
I know, right? Bet you couldn't do it.
So it's a grab here, thrust the left leg, use the right arm to leverage over.
Stop memorizing my move!
That's far enough! By the power of flame! Talon Hurricane! Hurricane! Looks in the sky is mine! Dragon Shell! Infernal Stick!
Do it! Shield! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Think we overdid it?
I'm on a roll now!
Not by a long shot.
Here!
Next!
Eagle Assault!
Lunar Rondo!
Grounded Anything in armor is all mine! Here I go! Hurricane Strike! Radiant Going in! Dragon Shell! Fang Bolero!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Radiant
Do it!
Here goes!
We managed to pull through. be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Vacuum blade!
I hope this thing is mentally approved.
No more playing nice!
Lunarongo!
Here, let me help. I never miss! For the weak point. Do it!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Yeah! Nice technique!
Hurricane!
Guess I had to use it sometimes.
Burn in hell! Explosion!
Going in!
Vacuum blade!
Burning strike!
Glacial spear.
Here's evil!
I'm on Lunarongo!
Meteor! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Will this help? Ready to go! Talon Hurricane!
Look, there you go. I'm sorry to be a bog.
We've all got enough.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's keep up the pressure!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Sword and shield!
A classic combination.
Guess I misread the landing.
Out of our way! Hurricane Flash!
Lunarongo!
That's freaking joking! I'll tear you!
I'll smash you!
I'll heal you all!
Denied!
Watch
Now
this!
you've gone and ticked me off!
This one's doing!
Leave the enemy.
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
Hurricane Flash!
There!
Talon Hurricane! Hear my tone! Spread! Primed and ready!
Lunarongo!
Burn! This
Flame
one's
inside me
mine!
yearns to be let free!
Hurricane Flash!
Make it rain!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Annihilation!
Watch
This
this!
one's mine!
There!
Hurricane Flash!
Now,
Here's my call!
watch it!
Spread! Hurricane Flash!
You made short work of that one.
I'm sorry. Having trouble keeping up?
So I'm right behind you.
Just pricier than you look.
Can't change the future without getting your hands dirty.
Now I'm real mad!
Long, get toasty!
Burn strike!
Seems about right to me.
It's crazy to see rocks melt before our eyes.
Watch where you're going, everyone. If you fall, there will be nothing left of you.
Exactly. So don't try anything funny. Especially you, Law. No pushing it. Anyone. Not even as a joke.
I'm not a little kid!
Out of my way!
Lunarongo!
Swallow this! That's freaking shocking!
Vacuum blade!
Finish without a trace!
Slash! Not today!
I can handle it! Talon Hurricane! Power!
Swallow blade!
Here's the claw!
Swallow blade!
I'm on it!
Talon Hurricane! Burning strike!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Eat this!
Radiant Hurricane! Glacial Spear! Here's her! Will this help?
I'm surrounded!
Swallow blade! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Eat this!
Watch this!
Burning strike!
Swallow blade!
Hear my call! Spread! Glacial Spear! Here's
Try
evil!
harder! My turn! Swallow
Blade!
blade! Swallow blade!
I never miss! I'll tear you apart! I'm on a roll now!
Swallow
Will this
blade!
help?
Sword Lane Alpha!
Glacial Healing Circle!
Swallow blade!
And just like that, I'm back in it.
Start by holding the front line.
No sooner said than done.
Lunarongo!
Stardust! Lunarongo! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Totally! In an instant!
Impact block!
Watch and weep.
On guard!
First strike!
Annihilate! Do it!
Mirage!
This one's mine! Looks like we got them all. I'll do my best!
Lunarongo!
Dragon Shell!
Lunar Punch!
Here goes!
Dragon Shell!
Burn! Take the shot! Got hooked! Radiant here!
I'm on a roll now! Take Bolero!
Switch
Rollerblade!
into the hurricane flight!
You can't lay a finger on it.
I prefer it that way.
Alpha!
What about you?
Just watch and see.
Hurricane flight! This one's mine!
Lunarongo!
Hurricane flight!
The enemy wields our
You'll soon see about that.
Freeze lantern!
Looks like it could be worth something.
Get lost!
Lunarongo!
Here!
Ignite!
Unlock it! Lunarongo!
Into the
Armor
shadows!
won't save you!
Hurricane flight!
Let's tear him up!
On guard! I'm just the weak point! Do it! Ringwell!
Frozen?
Hammer!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Out of our way!
Follow dance!
Where are you going?
Look sharp! That freaking does it! I'll tear you apart! Look sharp! Super follow dance!
You picked the wrong fight!
Aim for the weak point!
Lunarongo!
Do it!
Totally! In an instant!
Impact block!
Easy peasy. Huh.
Gotta break through!
Lunarongo! Follow dance! Carve through! Now I'm in the groove!
Denied! My head's spinning just watching you!
Rolling snap! In a bind, hit a worm! Look sharp!
Do it!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
What the hell is that thing?
Probably that monster Nath warned us about, if I had to guess.
Do you think this might have been where one of those lights that shot out of the wedge landed?
But why this location? If the purpose of the wedge is to harvest Dana's astral energy.
We can figure that out later. If that thing gets into town, it's going to cause chaos. We need to take it down and move on. Let's go! This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Here it comes! Focus!
On your toes, everyone!
Suddenly turning tail doesn't seem so ridiculous.
Why? Are you scared?
Me? Are you?
Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm scared.
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
It's summoning Zoogle? Take care of them while keeping an eye on it.
Lost my focus!
Down! You're armed!
Rongo! Glimmer Strike! Didn't you hear it?
Going in! Plenty left! Havoc
Rongo!
Leave the charges to me!
Talon Storm!
Glacial Spear.
Burn! I'm just getting
Freeze
close!
Lancer!
Swallow Blade! I'll smash you! Slash!
Where are you going?
Far enough!
Swallow Dare!
A stopping charge!
Thanks, Kisara.
Luna Rongo!
While it lasted.
Lightning! Downfall!
Time to shout!
What's
Back into the fray!
Luna Rongo!
Radiant Light!
Switch to offense! Igneous discharge!
Luna Rongo!
Anything in order. Go on.
You see what happened there as you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that. Now you see what I can do.
To be let free!
I'm just getting started. Luna Rongo!
Feast of thought! Let's keep up the pressure!
You picked the wrong fight!
I'm all stopped up!
Swallow Blade! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous Claw! I'm on it! I'll end you! Luna Rongo!
Its defenses are down!
I'll beat it to
Do it! Go, Halim!
All yours, Kisara.
By the power of flame! Vanish with hurricane!
Luna Rongo! Luna Rongo! Whirlwind Snap!
Can't get out of this!
Havoc! Right here! I got it! I can handle it!
pay for that.
Hard up!
Back from death
Luna
to death.
Rongo!
My head's spinning just watching you!
Resuscitation!
Tear!
Will this help?
Luna Rongo!
Healing circle!
Appreciate the help! And just like that, I'm back in it! Start by holding the front line! No sooner said
Here
than done!
goes! Searing flame!
Oh, now you're talking!
Searing flame! This one's mine!
Luna Rongo!
You picked the wrong fight!
By the
Luna
power of
Rongo!
flame!
Luna Rongo! You're on! Talon Hurricane! Luna Rongo!
The earth throbs in pain.
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Luna Rongo!
Glacial Spear! Here's Evo! Freeze Lancer!
You're on! I'll smash you! Do it!
Go! Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Here come more!
We'll just have to keep fighting. The enemy wields arms too.
We'll soon see about that!
Far enough!
All mine! I'm on it!
They're about to interrupt you!
Luna Rongo! Talon Storm!
Power of flame!
Stop!
Without a trace!
It's too much! Is this it?
No! Don't leave me all alone here!
Onyx, coming through!
Looks like you came to my rescue.
You made me angry!
You need to be careful.
That was a
With
bad
the Blazing
idea!
Sword and with the Thorn.
Rise and reign!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Did it!
Yeah! Nice technique!
Luna Rongo!
Havoc!
explosion! What's this?
You're spicier than you look.
Can't change the future without getting your hands dirty.
Dramatic, but fair.
Here's a healing art!
I'm gonna need more of that medicine.
Reinforcements incoming!
Not a problem! Going in! I never miss! Hurricane Thrust! Beast of Thought! Now I'm in the clutch! Carry on! Take again! By the power of flame! Vanish without a trace! All things come to an end! This one's mine!
I can carve through all of it!
Roller Blade! Dragon Blade! Here's a healing art! First aid! Searing Flame! Reload! Radiant Pierce! I'll heal you all!
No, it won't end like that.
Beast of Thought! A new leaf on life!
You're bruised all over. Did you even notice?
Guess I got carried away.
I'm not always going to be around to heal you, you know.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Resuscitation! Here's a healing art! First aid!
Now I can let loose.
This one's mine! This one's mine! Resuscitate!
Ignite! We did it!
Here, let me help!
Try harder! Now!
First aid! Far enough! What's this? Look shot! Confiscated!
Here I come!
This one's mine!
Lunarongo!
By the power of I never miss! Hurricane, do it! Havoc!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Here, let me help! Hurricane Strike! Beast Assault!
Glacial Spear! Piercing
Hurricane
Pulse!
Strike! Freeze Lancer! Havoc Thrust! I'm on it! Whirlwind Healing Circle! Piercing Roar!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Art Seal!
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Reload! Going in!
Lunarongo! The flaming side is yours to be set free! You picked the wrong fight!
Leave the That freaking gun! Searing Flame! Reload! I'm out of ammo! Time to stop! Don't mind if I do! Talon Hurricane!
No further!
Flaming Meteor!
I can carve through armor!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Swallow Blade!
Searing
Swallow
Flame!
Storm!
Reload! Lunar
I'm on a
Corruption!
roll now!
Lunarongo! I'm all stocked up! Mega Ray!
Whirlwind Snap!
It's weakened!
This one's mine!
Lunarongo!
Lunarongo!
Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact Block! This one's all...
It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone!
What was I...
Everyone all right?
We won't surrender. We won't retreat. Not yet.
Whatever you do, just please stay safe.
Here's a
I'm
healing
gonna
art!
need more of that
How are we supposed to take on something so big?
I'll handle it. Just
Alpha!
watch and learn. That's enough! Go back down! Everyone okay?
Yeah, I think so.
That thing scared the pants off me.
It felt like it had a different aura than other Zeugles, didn't it?
Yeah. It wasn't like the one that Almadria sicked on us either.
Its elemental astral energy variance was out of this world. It was like fighting a lord.
I guess it's safe to assume that if it came out of the wedge, it must have played some part in helping harvest astral energy. But what?
Perhaps a living spirit vessel? It's plausible, given the location. Or it may be part of a new force dispatched to regain control of Dana.
If we assume that monster was one of the 4 beams of light, we must have prevented something from taking place here.
I'd like to think so, knowing how much grief it gave us. But at least with that out of the way, we can keep moving forward now. Let's go. I can feel my power growing!
Hey, is that it over there?
You can never be too prepared. But did we have to spend so much?
Alphen?
Did you remember something?
No, but I have seen this starship before. This is it. This is the ship I traveled in when I escaped from Lenegis.
Three centuries later, and it's no worse for wear. I'll take a look at the internals.
Damn! I'm amazed it still works at all after all this time.
The past meets the present. I really am from a different time and place.
Yeah, but you've got us now, Alphen.
Not only that, but you've helped out so many people, too.
Law's right. Rinwell too. You're one of us now. No more carrying the weight of history on your shoulders. You're a part of this world.
Right. Thanks, you guys.
How's it look?
It should fly. All internal systems seem to be operating. However, considering how long it's remained inactive, I suspect it will take some time before it's ready for takeoff.
How much time are we talking here?
Starship mechanics are not what I'd call my forte, so I'd rather not hazard a guess.
So we've just got to sit around here and wait? I'm terrible at waiting.
That's because you're a child. Oh, but how about we use this time to prepare and gather supplies for the trip?
Good idea. Who knows when we'll be back from Lenegis once we leave? We should prepare ourselves for every possible scenario before we go.
Let's try not to stay away too long. I'd hate for anything to happen to the place while we're gone.
Either we race ahead, or we take due precaution to ensure we have no regrets. I shall leave it up to you as to how we proceed, Alphen.
Works for me.
It's funny, isn't it?
What is?
All this. When we first started this thing, did you ever imagine we'd be going to Lenegis? After all, this is the sort of thing I was rebelling against when I ran away from home, right?
I'm sure Zephyr would be proud if he knew what his son was doing right now.
And a little shocked, too.
We're defying the order of things that have persisted for 300 years. Deep down, I knew our journey would lead to confronting Lenegis.
Yeah, you maybe, but you're a Renan. The rest of us can barely even picture what it means to leave Dana.
No offense to Xion and Dohalim, but it's worth remembering we're heading into enemy territory.
No offense taken, and this is no picnic for me either.
Remember, our aim is to ensure that both Lenegis and the Renan homeworld leave Dana alone for good. I don't think we'll be able to avoid a fight.
Is there no way we can talk them into leaving us alone?
The people of Lenegis?
Sure. I mean, we found a way to make it work with Xion and Dohalim, right? And it's not just us. If places like Menancia can do it, then why can't we?
Because there are still many of my kind who believe it was right and natural that Rena reigns over Dana. There are those on Lenegis who have never stepped foot on Dana. I doubt whether they'd even listen to Danans.
Look, none of us want to fight. But these are the same people who fired that wedge down on Dana. What happens next is on them.
Right. We're not going to sit back and wait for them to oppress us again.
Right.
Don't forget, there's also a good chance the Red Woman is somewhere on Lenegis. And wherever she is, we should find the Renaissance too.
That's right. If we can take it back, then Xion can finally get rid of her thorns. Xion?
Huh? Yeah.
Where? Xion? Where'd Xion go? How could she just go off on her own? Shion. Shion! It's your thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Volron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time.
Huh?
The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
I believe you, Shion. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains. It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason you needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die. But if I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. That's what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Shion, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to.
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, It will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first, but ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegis, when the wedge fell. Every day, I feel the thorn's power growing stronger inside of me. Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold them back anymore. And when that happens,
they will consume all existence.
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself. You planned to find the Renis Alma on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the thorns.
But that's... too much. It's way too much.
When this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renins or the Danans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
Shionne!
Alphen?
Living for the sake of dying is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this?
Alphen.
It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen. We can fight this. Fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
Even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else, too?
Shionne, what do you want? It's your decision, ultimately. But if you decide not to fight fate, I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
You guys...
And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Huh?
Shionne is the descendant of a maiden from 300 years ago. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that those events have some connection to her thorns. The true nature of which, I imagine we will discover as we make our way to Lenegis and uncover the truth of what's unfolding here.
I take it you mean we might find a way to get rid of her thorns and she'll live?
It's certainly possible. Though I suspect the nature of the Sovereign is connected somehow.
So be it. I've already lost everything I had once. And I won't let it happen again. Shionne. No matter what happens from now on, we're right here with you. All of us are. You are not alone.
You guys... You're all so stubborn. Thank you, everyone. For right now, in a little while longer, I just want to hold on to this dream. And most of all, more than anything else, I want to be with all of you. On to Lenegis.
The end of the world.
I believe Shion is telling the truth. What about you?
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Everything that's happened seems to point towards some sort of great danger that's lurking ahead of us. Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright doom to the world. That those really are the stakes we face.
No, I understand. Even Shion doesn't seem to know exactly what will happen to bring it all about.
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands. So many clues. Yet the complete picture eludes us.
So where do her thorns fit in, then?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of it all. You remember the voice we all heard while we were inside the wedge, don't you?
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dana's astral energy come to life. Or that's what we all thought.
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast concentrations of astral energy can become sentient. Let's return to when we found Shion in Pelegion. When her thorns went wild, they contained far more astral energy than any mere Renin would normally have inside them.
So you think those thorns might be alive too? That their will is what keeps her from dying? But why would they want to destroy the entire world?
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still remain a mystery. It may be a mere fluke that her maiden powers have been able to contain it thus far.
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, they can't help but seek the truth. Especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
Dohalim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegis. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell on it too much for the time being.
Right.
How you holding up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was nothing.
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion wants to have to see you get hurt by her thorns, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah, very funny.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shion what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing them. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not right.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us, but that doesn't make it any less special or important for her. I hope she gets what she wants. I have my own dreams, but a world without her, where she dies so we can all survive, isn't a world I want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it.
You know?
You mean about Shion?
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, every once in a while I thought something seemed a little off, but I never could have imagined. It's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't even see it.
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but I could never quite figure out what it was.
You? But you're the one always looking out for her, aren't you?
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all. What I thought was helping and being there for her was actually just driving her into a corner.
At least you figured it out in time, though, right?
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those thorns from taking her. No matter what.
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shion, the world, we can save everyone. And I mean it when I say we, Alphen.
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say. Do you think he'd pat me on the back or tell me off?
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest. You're your own man now, Law. And you've already made up your own mind about what you want.
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted to.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with, don't we? We'll need all our strength to save Shion. I'll probably end up worrying again at some point, but I guess I'll think it over more then. That okay?
Yeah, I think it is. Can't sleep?
After everything we just heard? How could I?
Fair enough.
Shion's had to deal with so much on her own. Even when we were all laughing and celebrating, she just kept quiet and didn't say anything. I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. That it was because she didn't want to hurt anybody by getting too close. I just figured that that was the type of person she was, you know? But it turned out to be none of that. All this time, she felt like she had to die and sacrifice herself for the greater good. But even then, she didn't think she could say anything to us about it.
I know.
She was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going through?
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing you were there for her.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, I don't think she could have ever opened up to us like that. You were a good friend to her before, and you'll be an even better one now.
Yeah, I really hope so. I want to be the best I can for her. When you think about it, we were all alone in our own way. But over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. I hope Shion's able to do that one day too. No, I mean, I hope she's able to do that more. Lots and lots more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there to support each other when it really counts. And forget about our grudges and pain.
Rinwell. Hey, you doing all right?
I seem to cause nothing but worry. As much as I try to look like I have things under control, everyone still worries about me.
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time you said I was your friend?
No? When was that? Sorry, I can't remember.
That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you forgot. I was different back then. The Dahnans were not even people to me, and I knew I would always be alone. But in that room with Deadheim, when you called me your friend, it just shattered the wall that I'd built up around me. Because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to an end. I thought of you as a way to use the Blazing Sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But after that day, one time became two, and before I knew it, you'd made a habit of calling me and Dohalim your friends. It didn't matter that we were Renins. You cared about us as you would any other people. Then, Everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend. Before then, I never even dreamed I could have that. I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant you would all die in my place.
Shion.
But then, I realized... I'd only really been thinking of myself that entire time. After saying how I felt, and hearing what you all had to say, I finally understood that. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not planning on dying anymore. I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dana and for myself. I'll fight against my fate to preserve our future. And I'll win, come hell or high water. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of me.
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shion. Our fight won't be over until everyone, both Dahnans and Renans, can finally live in peace. But I swear I'll be there with you, until the very end.
Thank you.
Remember what we learned back in Calaglia? There's no wall so high that we can't break it down.
Yeah, I think you may be right about that.
Everyone well rested? Then let's go. We depart for Lenegis.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that! You're going to jinx us!
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have 2 goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shionne's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right, then let's go.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Okay, Shionne? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at...
Is something wrong?
No.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me though, you too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life. For as long as I can remember. They called it treatment. But in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, Like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Dahnan victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Hey, Alphen, listen to this! So Law and I were just talking and...
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology. It got me to Dahna in one piece, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alphen, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. That should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down there. Alphen? What?
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess. Naori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean... you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence, and needing to learn what it entailed?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now, and those still to come. The world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream is for all Dahnans, wherever they might be, to be free. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know. But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through looking the other way.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one step at a time.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dahna. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dahna even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Dahnan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Shionne?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Law's blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this Red Woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
I would wager so. Lenegis is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are she's also connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from us in Pelegion.
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That Red Woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them. There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis' infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this Red Woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the Sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a Sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a Sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone. Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renins. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what we'll find on the other side.
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For such a loudmouth, you sure can be a worrywart at times.
Oh, I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would you two children stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
So how many Renins actually live in?
I couldn't tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's base.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like...
What in the world?
This being Renin territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens.
While we're at it.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable... Whatever did we do to
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skill...
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd...
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time. Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Hmm? Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home is all. I was just about to make my
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the...
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent. Which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth. That Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah. That one guy even said Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult to...
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is... Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Dahnan. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made Sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that 2 Sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered, until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off-limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dahna, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. Let's go find it!
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do.